If you like this video, click like. If you want to continue to follow our adventure, hit subscribe. Your support would be greatly appreciated. Hello, Thousand Road subscribers and followers. I'm going to categorize this subject as one of the nuanced series. One of these things that they kind of pop in your head, you know, maybe the emotional aspects or the, you know, what it is you're thinking or feeling, or, you know, whatever that is. But learning to live with problems. A while back, I did a video on make it a habit. I'll put that link right here. And what I was trying to convey there is you were brought up in a stick and brick home. And so problems in a stick and brick home are just that. They're just problems. You deal with them. You know how to deal with them. You know, the water leaks on your sink. You can go to Walmart and buy a new sink, or you know, hire a plumber, whatever the case is. But it's just a problem. You don't sit there and think, well, you know, this is the end of the venture. Gonna have to, you know, just stop what I'm doing. But when you, and I know there are a lot of folks out here watching this video who are thinking about doing what we're doing. I get tons of comments. I know of one that's actually going to do it next spring. So I want you to be aware that when you get out here, you may have these same feelings. And it would be easy to listen to that negative voice in your head. Yep, this adventure is over because I've got a problem. So, and it happened to me again. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. And the inverter, now the inverter, just for those who don't happen to know what an inverter is, it inverts DC electric, so electric from your battery, into AC electric, which means your appliances that you can plug into the wall in your house. So your car battery to house electric is what this inverter does. The inverter started squealing at me about 4 o'clock in the morning. And I got up and I realized, I mean, because it tells me that the batteries are not charged. They can no longer run the refrigerator. It really wasn't a problem. Here's the thing, is I can't even start the generator until 6 o'clock, and I don't like to start it until 7, because 6 o'clock is, you know, curfew. You can't make noises at these national forests from 10 to 6. And I don't like running it until about 7 because it's, you know, still dark at 6. At least at this campsite, it's been dark at 6. And I didn't want to wake up the neighbors. Well, anyway, so my batteries are dead. And that means my refrigerator isn't going to run. And it's not a big deal, because in 2 hours, I can turn it on. Nothing in the freezer is going to thaw out in those 2 to 3 hours. Nothing. Everything was fine. But my brain, especially being, you know, woken up by the inverter squealing, went to that this is a camping trip. This is a short-term problem because one of these days we're going to go back to the house. That's what my brain said. It's a subconscious thought that says, I don't have to deal with this the rest of my life. And the point I was trying to make in the make it a habit is, I was a smoker ever since I was a teenager. And I've smoked off and on for a long time. And I know, you know, I'll get the snotty, you know, comments about that. But that's just the way it was. Anyway, about 3 years ago, I quit smoking. Even after the physical effects, the jittery, the physical effects went away, I still had this emotional need to have a cigarette. And still yet today, I mean, after 3 years, occasionally I'll be drinking a cup of coffee, or I'll be driving, or I'll be doing something that I think, boy, I'd like to have a cigarette. The smell of a cigarette makes me want to have a cigarette. So there are times when I still have this mental thing that says, I need a cigarette. The same thing is going on with this camper. It's the same exact feeling when the inverter went off at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, well, when I get home, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Even though it wasn't a conscious thought, just like smoking, or not smoking, it's not a conscious thought that I want a cigarette. It's just a habit. I'm drinking a cup of coffee, gotta have a cigarette. It's just an unconscious thought that when I get home, I don't have to worry about this anymore. Or when I get home, I can fix this. Or when I get home, I can do this. This is home. And I'm telling you, it is quite distressing. The reason I'm bringing it up, it is very distressing to have this feeling. And then realizing at some point, wait a minute, this thing that just popped in my head isn't going to happen. I'm not going to go home. This is my home. Just like the cigarette. It is quite distressing. You know, here we are 2-3 years into quitting smoking, and I think, oh, I gotta have a cigarette to drink my coffee. And when I realize I'm no longer a smoker, it becomes distressing. Like, oh, well, that's a disappointment. I would have really enjoyed a cigarette. I probably couldn't even smoke a cigarette now. It'd probably make me dizzy, make me choke, cough, and it'd be terrible. So when you bring the thought into consciousness, until conscious thought, it's kind of disappointing or depressing or something, just for that fraction of a second. Same thing goes here. I really do believe this is not unique to me. I think this is going to be a common problem for everybody who wants to do this. When you have a problem, you're not just going to be able to go home and pretend like the problem doesn't exist. This is your home. The inverter told me the battery was dead. The battery's dead. It's a problem that I'm just going to have to learn to deal with. Oh, well, and it's not even a big problem. It really isn't a big problem. I just didn't charge the battery long enough the night before. And I also got on the computer for longer than I should have. I actually knew it was probably going to happen. Yet when it happened, it was like, well, you know. So I probably have beaten this one to death. But I can't tell you how distressing it is when you finally realize, wait, this is a problem I'm going to have to live with indefinitely. So anyway, for those of you that are planning on doing this or wanting to do this, please keep that in mind. So when it happens to you, you're not shocked by it, you're not trying to figure it out, because it took me a long time to figure this out. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.